Hey everyone, welcome to A Life in Dublin. I'm Mark, this is Ross. Today we're talking to Jess from Mexico. Really good chat.
We talk a little bit about moving to Dublin with zero English and learning as you kind of go and as you live. We also talk about the Irish accent, about making friends with people outside of your own nationality and your own kind of general community.
Yeah, and we talk also about going from being an English student in Ireland to working as a fully employed and sponsored engineer. So that process of going through the different visas that you need to get to that point. So that's actually quite interesting for anybody who's interested in it.
So we really hope you enjoy this episode as much as we enjoyed recording it. Have a good time and we'll see you in the next one. 90 World Cup. I think it was with the 1990 World Cup.
Is that the guy that did the...
I don't know, the scorpion kick.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it was him, but was that Campos?
Yes.
So it's like super colourful, but so I love wearing it, but the unfortunate thing is it's just really short. Maybe it was built, maybe I'm being a bit stereotypical here, but it might be built for the average Mexican rather than the abnormally large Irish guy. So it's like a crop top nearly, but with super like long arms, really wide. So I've always kind of had a Mexican jersey floating in my cupboard. But no, this was when I saw it. I'm just like, yes, you got to get that Aztec. You got to get that. Really,
Yeah, it's quite cool.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
It's kind of embroidered as well.
A bit freaky, a bit kind of trippy or like...
intimidation tactics.
Yeah, it's kind of looking at me across the table here.
Especially when I turn around as well.
Eyes looking at you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, very scary.
Cool.
But
Jess, thanks so much for doing this. Really, really appreciate it.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
Yeah. When did you first come to Dublin?
I came here 4.5 years ago. And summertime, it was lovely time. It was a World Cup as well, going on around. It was very fun.
Okay.
Yes.
What were your first impressions of Ireland, and maybe what were your expectations before you came? Like, what did you think you were going to see here? What did you think you were going to experience? And then how did that compare to your actual first impressions?
Yeah, well, first, like, my dream was always living somewhere else. And at the moment I decided to come to Ireland, I was so excited that I never thought like what could go wrong, like the problems I could be facing.
Yeah.
I was just like, I want to do it. I actually didn't research much about Ireland because I don't know, at least in Mexico, Ireland is not that, how can I say, we don't know much about it. It's not as popular, I would say, as other countries, but of course we know like lots of things about Ireland, about Halloween, and this kind of same cultural thing, like leprechauns and fairies and all these things. I knew it was going to be a little challenging, but I wasn't sure how.
Why did you know it was going to be challenging?
Because of, for example, just the opportunities I was going to have, the change, like my life was going to change completely because I was going to a country that I didn't know anyone.
Yeah. I
was completely new in other side of the continent, of the world, in another continent.
Yeah.
So I was just expecting like the best.
hopefully.
I was terrified about the language, but at that point I wasn't able to speak or to have a conversation in English. I studied there. Yes, I studied in Mexico, but it's not the same when you need to survive, to speak the language in order to survive. Then when I arrived, I was, how can I say, just happy, excited. Everything was different, buildings, people. It's a very multicultural country now, because I know in the past years it wasn't like that.
Yeah.
It was the World Cup, so people from all the countries, all the jerseys, all together.
Where was the last World Cup? I'm trying to remember.
2018.
I remember watching the final was in the Czech Republic and France.
Yeah.
I think so.
Where was our last World Cup?
Am I thinking of the European Championships?
No, because England and Italy were in the European Championships last time, and that was 2 years ago. 4 years ago, why can't I think of it? It was not in South Africa, it was in Russia.
Was it?
It was in Russia.
Okay.
Yeah, because we were having this debate the other
times
day.
have changed.
We were having this debate the other day, conversation in my house about Sepp Blatter. You know Sepp Blatter? He used to be the chairperson of FIFA, and when England were trying to apply for the World Cup for this World Cup, obviously it didn't go to England, it went to Qatar, and everybody was up in arms. But it was very similar to the same idea that why did Russia get it the year before that, and and then recently Sepp Blatter came out and says, oh, it was a mistake giving it to Qatar, when everyone could have said it at the time, but money speaks.
Of course,
that's kind of part of it.
Yeah.
So when you arrived, where were you kind of held up? Did you rent, or did you stay in a digs, or were you with friends when you arrived originally? How did you settle into life here in Ireland?
I think it was the most difficult part, because I knew when I came through an agency, like the typical student agency, and they were like, you are gonna face some challenges, but I wasn't sure how important was going to be. I was excited, so I didn't see. When they told me accommodation is a difficult thing in Dublin especially, and we have a contact, a Mexican guy that has a space in the apartment he's living. So I recommend you to rent that place. So I said yes, perfect. So I went there, and it was shocking for me because I thought it was going to have one roommate or something like that. I was aware that I was going to share the room, but it was a crazy apartment of 12 people, and in each room was 6 people sleeping. 6 people. So it was very shocking for me because I've never seen something like that before. I'm glad that I didn't have a problem, because I know many people when they arrive for first time have lots of problems to find a proper, even a place to sleep. So then I found, or I met those Mexican guys, and they helped me to start, to know what was going on in here. So they helped me a lot about giving me information, how to get my PPS, the visa, the school, all those.
Bank, etc.
Exactly, bank. So, and then they helped me a lot, and then I became their friend, and then more friend of friends, and then I started to connect with the Mexican group, I could say. And then eventually at school and at work, I met other people from other countries and everything. But it was good because they helped me a lot. And that's the good thing about all communities, not only Mexicans, but I noticed that everybody have their own communities and they help each other, especially when we are first coming to a new country that we don't know anyone. So it was good.
And when you came, you said you came with an agency, and they were... was that a learning English kind of visa, or did you come over working with because of your maybe a master's or a university degree? What was the reason you came to Ireland?
I came to learn English. My primary goal was going to Canada, or the original idea was going to Canada to work in a professional environment. I tried to find out how to do it, and then I found out that I needed a proper English certification to do it, and lots and lots of money, because I wanted to apply for a citizenship, something like that. And then it was a little hard for me because at that time I really wanted to move somewhere else, but I didn't have the whole money to do it, and not my certification. So I saw the alternative to going to Dublin, to Ireland. And I was like, wow, that sounds amazing. It's a new place for me. I saw the pictures and I was like, Ireland looks awesome. So I'll do it. So I came here, and then I realized that it's not that easy. It wasn't going to be easy for me to have a proper professional job here, as I was expecting, or it was my idea. First of all, because of the visa that we get here, it's more part-time job.
Yeah.
What stamp is it? Stamp 2?
Stamp 2.
Yeah.
So even if I could have the opportunity to work in a company that I would like to work, they would say no, because we need someone full-time. You know, and also I needed to attend school and everything, so I couldn't just go or straight away start with a professional or something related to my career back in Mexico.
And what was that career in Mexico?
It's called control and automation, which is robotics.
Okay.
And I know here they have lots of different areas or companies that work here or have work opportunities here.
In robotics, or are you kind of in the tech side of the, like, what was your degree from university?
Robotics.
Robotics.
Yes,
Okay.
robotics. So it could apply to any company basically that needs robots to work in order to work, you know, even to make, I don't know, ketchup or I don't know, medical device or anything. So I could apply to many other field or companies, but I wasn't able to do it at that time.
I know that now, or I happen to know from speaking to you before, that you have a great job now within that industry. So you came here 4 years ago on a stamp 2 student visa, and you're now doing what you initially wanted to do. How difficult was it to get to that point?
Very.
Yeah.
Very, very difficult. You know, it was hard to. Well, first it was easy to start speaking in English because I had the knowledge before, so everything came closer or better through the time. But then, I don't know. I needed to I needed to study something else in order to have the opportunity to show any company what I was able to do.
Yeah.
So COVID started because I was enjoying Dublin, learning English, doing my certification, and then COVID started. So everything shut down, everything. We stayed at home, and I was like, this is my last English course, and I have to make a decision of going back home or staying here and do something to keep this dreaming.
Yeah.
You know, keep going. So I was like, okay, I will study something else. I don't want to stop here. I don't want to. I'm in the middle of the road, so I'm gonna go. So then I started. I studied a higher diploma in IT, in computing science. So it was challenging because it was online. It was hard because it's not the same when you have your teacher in front of you than when you are in the screen. You don't know anyone and everything. So it was difficult. Also because I realized I didn't like it. Also. So it was even more difficult to keep going, you know.
The motivation wasn't there.
Exactly. And also, you know, I don't know what about you guys, but in COVID, it was so hard to stay at home all the time. Yeah. No friends, no have a little bit of, I don't know, distraction. Yeah. It was difficult. So I was most of the time in front of the computer trying to focus, trying to do to learn properly and finish my course. I could finish it, everything good, and I was like, okay, this is not what I'm gonna do. I'm going to do. But the good part is after that year, I had the opportunity and I had the visa, like the working visa, which is stamp 1G. And then with that stamp, I was able to find a job somewhere else. So one good person helped me to do my CV properly.
Great.
I spoke to him and he told me, you have good experience, you have good skills. I think you just need to how can I say, to write it into your CV. So you need to convince someone to give you the opportunity.
Yeah.
So I was looking. It wasn't easy. And then finally I found this perfect job, the one I have now. And I was so glad. It was difficult at that time because my visa couldn't arrive on time because of the COVID situation. Same thing. They were having delays of 3-4 months. So I got a call from the company. I had the interview and they said, yes, we want you in our team. But then I couldn't start at the right time because of my visa. So I had to wait a little bit longer for it. But luckily, I'm now working there.
At any point between waiting for your visa and getting your visa, did you feel like the job was going to be taken away from you? Did you feel like they were going to say this is taking too long, that you're going to lose it? Like what sort of emotional stress were you through during that one visa to the next visa?
Wow, at that time it was not only the visa. To be honest, it was a very challenging time in my life. It was exactly like a year ago almost. Like my friends left the country because in this country many people come but many people go. So it was a hard time for me. I was looking for a better place to live. I just found the place. What happened? I had no job, so I didn't have enough money to wait for them to say, okay, you have the visa now, so you can start working. So I was in an urgency to start generating money, So it was hard time. I thought I needed to have a plan, like something, because rents are not cheap, and the cost of life. So I try to do small things, and at the end it worked. I had the opportunity also to go back home to Mexico, and then come back ready for the job.
So you went back to Mexico for a little while?
Yes.
And then you came back?
Exactly. Before I started, I was like, I'd rather stay at home with my parents than here, like, just waiting for the job. I was hoping they could say, yes, you are in. They actually sent me the contract and everything, so I could sign it.
Okay.
So I was kind of secure that I was going to be there. Other people gave me advice, like, look for something else. And I was like, no, I want that job. I want to wait. I'm sure that's what I want. So I waited and I was like, I don't see any other place I want to be. I want to be there.
Interesting.
Yes.
Can I go back to like when you so as I've gotten a little bit older, I used to make decisions, particularly in my 20s, all the time based on what I thought was the logical thing to do. I always thought that was the correct, the rational thing, and always making decisions with your head. And as I've gotten a little bit older, I've learned to actually trust my instinctive decisions more, and I can't necessarily explain why this is the right thing. It's just what I feel is the right thing to do. When you said that you were during your last English course and you made the decision, I could go home or I could go and study something else here, and you said you said you wanted to study something else. Was that a rational decision, like there's more opportunities here, I can make more money here, or was it something else that you can't really explain?
It was actually funny because that was a very, like, a story, like I see my life sometimes like a movie or a video game, more challenging and a new level and everything. I remember that time I was like, I want to stay in Ireland, but I don't know how. So it wasn't that easy to just say I'm gonna study. So I was like, okay, there is an opportunity to continue with an English course. I in that moment I was going out. Well, I was in a relationship with an Irish guy, so I was like, I could have the opportunity also to apply for the partnership, but I knew it was going to take long. Everything was closed, and I wasn't really sure that he was going to be eligible to do that with me. Okay. So I had many ways, many options. But then I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what is the best option. So I remember one last time I was with a friend, and I told him I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know what is the solution. So he said, have you think about need higher diploma? I'm doing a higher diploma, is in computing science, blah blah blah. This is my school and everything. He gave me all the information. I was like, okay, I'm gonna have a look. So and one day I remember it was the last day, one of the last days of my visa. You know, because we have the last one of the last days my visa was on. I went to the school, and I was like, okay, I'm interested. I would like to see what are the options, and because I want to keep my visa. So I was interested in artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
But at that time they didn't have the higher diploma for full-time students, yes. So they gave me this opportunity. They explained to me everything, and they say, okay, but today is Monday and the classes just started now. So if you have to make the decision and do the payment today or tomorrow as late, because we cannot accept more people. So I was like, wow, what am I gonna do? So I was so confused. I sat in front of the river Liffey, in one of the seats there. I was like, okay, I just want to do what I think I have to do. And I remember exactly that, like that day. I was like,
what part of the river were you sitting?
You know where the coffee shop is?
On the north side?
On the, yes, very close to O'Connell.
Along the
You
border.
walk there.
Yeah, the little kiosk.
Yeah. Yes.
Go Coffee or
Something like
Go
that,
Coffee,
Yes, somewhere around. I was watching there. I was like, I don't know. Let's do it. And there is no other option. I thought about moving to Germany or going back home and then trying to find a way. I was like, no, I feel like I have to do this. So I was like, let's do it. So I went straight to the bank. I did the payment, and I say, I'm ready for tomorrow.
Brilliant. Yeah,
yes, it was a very, very good story. It was like just all the ways led me to one way at the end.
Now that you've reached this point, you've got to where you wanted to be.
Yeah.
My question is, do you see yourself... I'm not going to ask you, do you see yourself staying here forever? I'm sure at some point you'll either go somewhere else or maybe go back to Mexico, your home. But how do you see your future over, let's say, the next 2 to 5 years? That sounds like such an interview question, I'm sorry. But I'm just interested to know, now that you've worked so hard to get to this point.
It's funny because I don't know, my life in Ireland, it's been always like at the edge, I don't know, of something, because you never know that's what I love about living here. Your life can change in one moment. One day you meet someone, one day something happens to you that can change completely the plans and the opportunities the plans that you have in your mind. I was going to come just for, I don't know, maybe 2 years or something like that, and then I'm almost 5 years here. I have no idea how that happened, you know, but I met people that helped me. I had opportunities. One chat with someone could change my point of view or my ideas, and help from someone else or helping some other people. And so now I'm at the edge because I'm waiting for I applied. Fortunately, the company gave me the sponsorship.
Great.
So I applied for the sponsorship, but the thing is, I want to apply for critical skills. I don't know if you know how critical skills works.
No.
I imagine you're given some kind of priority, or I don't know.
Yes, exactly. They have a list of professions. They're giving priority.
Yeah.
For to accept. So engineering in general is there.
Yeah.
So I can apply for a citizenship earlier or faster than other people. So, for example, in this case, in 2 years, I could be resident of Ireland, like proper resident with this kind of sponsorship. The thing is, my profession is not exactly as the list says. So it's not the same. It's the same, but with a different name. So I applied like a month ago, and they denied the visa.
Okay.
Because of that.
It's not critical skill.
Exactly. It's not for them. It's not.
Yeah.
But basically, I am part of the critical skill list. So I sent the appeal, and then I'm waiting for it for the answer. So right now I'm not sure what is going to happen, because it's like depends on what happens there. It's if I'm gonna be able to stay longer, or if it's gonna be like the slow way to do it. Like I think it's 3 or 4 years in total for the normal sponsorship, or the 2 years for the critical skills.
Okay.
I think.
Well, fingers crossed it comes back okay. I mean, at the end of the day, I think these things are just kind of administrative processes. Like, as you said, you probably didn't fit perfectly the description given, and someone is analysing it who probably doesn't have a clue what any of the words mean, but it's like, this doesn't match with this, so no. So hopefully now that you're going to actually explain, it's like, I know it doesn't match this, but it's the same thing, it's just a different title. You were probably too honest on your application is the problem.
Probably.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, and I want your honest answer for these. Okay.